Hello, and welcome to Just Keep Writing While Black.
A podcast for writers by writers.
To keep you writing.
I'm Marshall.
I'm Brent.
And I'm LP.
Hey, so guys, it's been a while. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
I've never done this.
And LP has not done this, which I think is awesome. So we're back to Just Keep Writing While Black. I'm going to throw it to Brent to kind of say what we're going to do for this episode in a second, but I'm just glad we're doing this again, guys, before the end of the year, honestly, because I think we all needed this.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the gist of this is sort of like a year-end kind of wrap-up thing. So we haven't done one of these in a while, but over the course of the year, we have done a few of these episodes, and so we wanted to kind of like reflect on some of our favorite moments from the episodes we've had this year, and at the same time, kind of move from that to talking about our own writing and our own challenges and the things we're working on and excited about, so on and so forth. And then kind of like bring it home by talking about Black writers in the SFF space that we think people, should be looking out for in the coming year. So.
And also, I think the intention is we are going to keep doing this into the next year. Right. And we've got some big plans, especially for Black History Month. So I'm excited.
We're almost slated up for Black History Month. I think there's one spot left.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's 4 episodes. We're talking about doing 4 episodes that month. So
we did it. We did this year.
Yeah, we did. So I think we got to keep the tradition.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you want to start? Let's talk about what we've done. We're going to talk about the past.
Well, we mentioned Black History Month, so let's start. We start there. I actually really, really liked who we got on for Black History Month this year. Like we had Jen Brown, we had LD Lewis. Trying to remember. See, and the problem with me in these episodes is that I remember all of them all at once, and I don't remember when people came on. So I just blend it all together.
I'm trying to find them. Hold on.
But well, I'll let Marshall find it, and I'll talk about like it was so much fun having LD on. LD is one of my really good friends, and she is always kind of like we talk a lot, and she kind of told me that it was some bit of frustration for her that like she never got a chance to talk about her craft, and it was always about her community work, and I was like, well, let's fix that. And so, we gave her a chance to like really talk about her craft and her writing because she's a damn good writer. And I'm glad people are finally getting hip to that, and I'm just happy that we got to be a podcast space for her and letting her talk about that. And she wasn't just a Black organizer. She's a Black writer. Like,
that was an awesome conversation. So just for the record, it was episode 82, 83, 84, and 85. 82 was, hold on. 82 was with Jen Brown. 83 was with Zen. 84 was with Kevin Ramirez. And then LD was 85. Remember Kevin?
Yes, Kevin is my college friend. And Kevin is... Yeah. Kevin is my friend from college and really good guy. And like he actually, and it's funny now that you mentioned we'll talk about creative coaches off episode, but he's actually a creative coach. So might be, bring him back possibly. Yeah. But it's a good college friend of mine. So it was really cool connecting with him and, talking about my early days of like trying to pursue this writing thing. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. He knew me when I was like 20, 21, 22, like a much, much younger Brent. So
baby Brent.
Yeah, literally. And then Jen, the way she talked, I still, so the cool thing about like, one of the things I love about Just Keep Writing is that like, I get to ask selfish questions for myself that I can go back to later. So like the way that Jen talked about how it's like she deals with fashion and how like, she implements fashion and world building. I was like, look, I'm asking this for myself. Like, this is good for the audience, but I want these notes. Like,
look, I read the first act of that novel you're working on, and like it shows.
Yeah, I took notes. Like, I literally absorbed. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that piece of work later. But yeah, I definitely was like, oh, Jen, like I'm trying to absorb what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, so that was a good episode. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about my reflections.
But definitely go back and check out those 4 episodes, specifically because we plan to doing the same thing this February. Brent has his slot as well, because his book is coming out that month, or his novella is coming out that month. So I'm really looking forward to February and just sitting down with you guys and other people and chatting. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And it seems like so far everyone who is on the docket is a friend of mine, and it always makes me happy to be able to share what people in my life are doing. So,
yeah.
All right. So what's next? What do we want to talk about next?
So, well, we want to try to pivot to talk about we can talk about our own writing this year, actually, and kind of because ultimately the 3 of us are Black writers as well, and I want us to talk about our stuff and what we're doing from not just a space of Blackness, but craft and all the other things. And
LP, why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head?
I'm mixed.
You're still going to talk about your writing, though.
Yeah. All right. So we're still going to talk about it. So let's get the hard stuff out the way first. So it's not like I don't want to mire in that too long. But what were some of the challenges that we faced with our writing this year?
I'm gonna shoot that to Marshall because I think he might have had the easiest time this year.
All right.
So I had the easiest time because I am not under deadline except for my grad school program, which has been the biggest challenge for me, is just finding the freaking time to work on this thing. Like, I love the class I'm taking, but like I'm supposed to write a novel while I'm doing it, and it's kicking my ass. I'm making pretty decent progress, but I basically have another month to produce more words than I think I can produce in a month. So I am trying to pretend that it's going to happen anyway. And I'll end up getting the words on the page in some way, shape, or form. And it may not be all the way done when the deadline hits, but I think I have a little bit of a grace period. I really like what I'm writing. I'm really enjoying writing. My thesis novel is a Black space opera, and it's fun as hell. And I got Black people flying spaceships and doing badass shit and having fun. And I don't know, got some zombie like creatures and stuff like that. I mean, I'm having a good time with it. I have a whole outline. I just got to figure out when I'm going to work on it. I've got an awesome mentor or thesis advisor as well, Aize Jama Everett, who rocks. And he's been meeting with me as often as he can, give me some awesome advice. So that's the one thing about the program. I get to work with a Black author who has done this before. So I'm basically, my biggest challenge is just I've had a lot of stuff and a lot of family stuff and just all the stuff happening at one time, but like just getting the words on the page. So that's my biggest struggle. But once I sit down to do it, I'm having a blast. So hopefully these chunks of time, I got 2 weeks off from day job in December. So that's really when the crunch is going to hit. I can feel that already.
Yeah.
But yeah. So just knowing I don't have to go to work every day. Like this week, I'm not going to work every day. We're recording this during the Thanksgiving break, and it's nice. I ran some errands this morning. I wrote for like 2 hours. It was awesome.
Nice.
And that was all before I would have been off work. So that's something.
Yeah. No, it is something.
All right. Hit us with the real stuff, guys. Come on now.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go next. For myself, this year has actually been very, very like a tough writing year for me. And I think part of it is just that this has been a year of like transformation for me, I guess, in terms of like, and not even just in writing, but it's like in my friend space, in my social spaces, in my workspace, like everything has just been changing and like and it's and in a lot of ways, in good ways, but still change and it's still stressful. Even good change is stressful. So I've had all that going on, and also too, like having to realize, like in writing, trying to write this novella and get it up to par and get it to a space that I'm happy with, whatever. It's like having to realize that I was I was like pushing through feelings and emotions and things that like I hadn't really dealt with to meet a deadline, and I think I said this someplace else too, but and I'm trying not to think of it like this because Will said don't think of it like this, but it felt like I wounded myself in the process, and like it feels like the writing has been a little harder this year just because like of all these various stressors coming down. And then also too, like I think it's been harder because I'm fighting for rest now in a way that I didn't in previous years. Like now I'm actively saying to myself and making a point to fight for moments of rest and moments of socialization and moments of fun. And I think in previous years I didn't do that. I just let the writing and the community work and all that just utterly consume the majority of my time. So I think, like I said, year transformation, just trying to find a new balance, I guess, is where I've been. All right, LP.
Yeah, I think I've been depressed most of the year, and I didn't realize it until like a month or so ago. And so, looking at the prospect of going to Clarion, I oriented my whole year to getting ready for that. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, did I travel before that? Absolutely not. Did I want to go to StokerCon? Did I want to take a trip to New York to see my people? Like, all these things, Um, and I didn't do any of those things. And I went to San Diego and had a rough time in San Diego, and I came home and had a rough time when I came home. And I just kind of realized somewhere along the way, I guess in the last month, I think right before NaNoWriMo started, right before November, that like, rather than trying to push myself to like complete things, I should probably take this month to rest and to read and to consume stories and like think about them instead of trying to produce something. And I think I've been mostly successful. I watched Mary Robinette's class at BYU on the Mice Quotient, and then listened to all those episodes on writing excuses. I might take a class at Stanford Online for alternative narrative patterns because I'm interested in that, or plot structures. That's what they called it. But like, I've not been writing. I've just been consuming different ideas on writing, and that's been really nice. And it makes me feel, I think I've been feeling like, oh, usually when people are like, oh, well, this esoteric thing about this narrative, and I'm just like, oh, girl, I don't know if I'm smart enough for this. But like, I'm reading the things, and I'm like, oh, wait, I think I'm kind of getting what you're putting down. And half of those theory conversations are bullshit, right? They're like esoteric at best, and someone's pretending to understand so that they can look cool. But like, I don't know. I'm reading Meander Spiral Explode by Jane Allison, and some of it I'm really enjoying. So there's those. But I'm really excited. I want to talk to y'all about plans for next year because I'm very excited about 2023 for all of the hosts of Just Keep Writing. But everyone's not here, so I just want to talk to the two of you. I'm convinced that like by the end of the year, all five of us will have representation. I'm curious what you want to tackle next year and how you decide on what you want to tackle.
I feel like sometimes, LP, here's the thing. I feel like your goals for me are pretty lofty, which I love because I like that. I feel the confidence from you. I do.
I believe in you.
I know you do. And I feel that. And I love that. So the question is this before I get representation or after? Like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, I think making decisions about your output are important, whether or not you get representation.
I got you.
Like, if I don't get representation, I still intend on getting XYZ done.
I hear you. I think my biggest goal, because of the program I'm in, it's not done until the summer. And so by the end of it, I'm supposed to have a completed novel. I know that there are all stages of this particular thing that people have graduated from this program with. Some of it has been 40,000 words shorter than their goal, but it's the beginning, middle, end. It didn't get done, or it is done, or is it's partially, you know what I'm saying? But my goal is to have the freaking thing done and ready to like try to get that representation that you're talking about. That's my biggest goal, is to have the novel done when it's supposed to be done and in its best form, so that I can meet the goal. I mean, the whole point of all of this and spending the money and working this hard on all this stuff is to eventually make, and I've said this before, make writing a bigger part of my life. And part of that is I would like to publish novels. I like to publish stories. I would like to, that's what I want. And so if I'm going to do this program, if I'm going to get to that point, I don't want to just have half a novel done. I want to have it done. Does that make sense? That's my goal.
So your goal next year is to finish your novel?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great goal.
Yeah.
By the end,
I don't know about the representation thing you're talking about, but I mean, I'll let you keep doing that.
I'm gonna keep doing it. Are you saying finish your novel by the end of the year or by the end of your program?
Well, by the end of the program, it is supposed to be done. So when it's supposed to be done for my program is when it will be done. So I think we're supposed to have the draft done January 1st, and then the revision and all the other steps come between that and July, basically.
Baby, there's still 5 months left in the year after that. Okay. Look.
Well, I've also got some short stories. I've got some stuff, and I'm working on. I'm also working on a screenplay secretly.
You're not winning this, Marshall.
I know, but LP's gonna appreciate this. I have side projects. I have secret side projects. I'm actually working on a screenplay at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's happening.
So a screenplay and the novel and some short stories.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's good. Brent.
He turned his camera off. I thought I was going to avoid us.
Yeah, I know. I swiped the button, but for myself, well, so at the beginning of this year, I started on, and I had to stop, not because the story got hard or anything. Actually, I was enjoying the story a lot, but I just needed to focus on the novella. But I started a novel that I got about the first act and a little bit of the second act drafted. And so my goal for next year is to definitely work on and finish and get that thing polished. So yeah, it's actually like I call it a kitchen sink novel, just because like everything I love, I've just been like throwing into it. So it's like this blender of like all of a lot of things I love. So yeah, that's kind of like my passion project that I'm planning on for next year. But I also have another idea that I have been like sketching a little bit on. It's like a weird epic fantasy, but it's about music and sort of. So, okay, I guess I could tell y'all I'll give the little bit of the story about it. So basically it's it takes place at this nightclub that exists outside of 88 different dimensions. And I did 88 dimensions because 88 keys on the piano. But anyway, so it's this club that exists outside of all these dimensions, and they only play music that's either been forgotten or was never actually written. And so it's this neutral ground for all these different realms where people come to hammer out their disagreements and so on and so forth. So it's a little bit Constantine. It's a little bit Border Keeper. It's a little bit, it's different. It's another kitchen sink project. I'm not, it's so early on. I have no idea where that's going to go, but it's an idea. And then I have
that sounds awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to read that like right now. So continue that, please.
I'm finding it very mid. I don't know. That is 100% falsehood. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, the code name for it right now, I don't actually have a real name for it, but I just call it Never Song. But so that's the code name for it. But anyway, I also have a little bit of a novella I want to work on. That's about it's basically interview with a vampire, but in the tech, but instead of like New Orleans in the 1800s, it's more like a secondary city that's like, techno, kind of like house underground music based. Instead of vampires, it's necromancers. But that's something. Yeah, I did tell you a little bit about it, Andre. Like, I mean, LP, I think I did because because it's something I just started pecking at too. So, yeah. So those are the three things right now. Those are the three things. Now there is a fourth or fifth thing, but that's kind of active. But I only got so much time, and I'm not going to do that to myself. So
okay, well,
yeah,
we'll ask for an update on the next one then.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, LP, you get to answer your own question.
Yeah, struggle. So, y'all might not know this. I only work 4 days a week. This depression makes things really challenging because I feel like working 4 days a week, I should definitely be able to get like 8 solid hours in a week of writing. I don't know. I have a friend who is contracted for 5 books and he's still working a day job, like not making ends meet, like struggling through a day job and like not a day job, like freelancing, but it's just like, I don't want that. So in my head, I feel like I need to make a lot of books. Like I want to hit the industry like Akweke and Mezi. Like, like, is it possible for a normal person to generate and publish 7 books in 4 years? I don't know, but they did it. So I kind of want to as well. So I have like this, I'm known for making huge, like shoot over the moon goals and then like not succeeding at any of them. So I made slightly smaller goals, which are to like really work on generating new things in the first 3 quarters of the year and spending the last quarter polishing things. So every quarter there is a novel thing and there's a novella thing and like some short stories in there. I'm not trying to get anything pretty. I'm just trying to draft. And then we'll see what we can get done in the last of the year. The only thing that I'm polishing before that is the first novella because I've been trying for the past 3 years to send something to Neon Hemlock for the novella series, and I have yet to have anything accomplished by the time that comes around. So yeah, I'm going to work on 3 books, 3 novellas, and a collection. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Because you and I have, I don't know, we've talked about around this a couple of times, and you know, if I were to listen to my wife, for example, she will say, well, she likes to say things like, when you get your book published, then X, Y, and Z, right? So I guess my question for you guys, love that
she talks like that though. Go ahead.
No, yeah, she's amazing. But I guess what I'm hearing is what I keep telling myself is it's that one book's not going to be enough. You know, that one thing's not going to be enough, right? I mean, we know authors that work, you know, that still teach, that still do X, Y, and Z. There's only a few authors that work, that are writers full time. I know several of them that are full-time writers, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a really interesting conversation talking to them about that. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the day job part, right? So what does that look like for us is my question. Like, is that even a possibility?
I feel like we're not having that conversation enough. I feel like I've seen a lot of white women who, you know, sign a deal and they quit their job and move to New York and then they're frustrated when their book doesn't sell. And like, there was an article about this. I'm not pulling this out of my ass, about this white lady who moved to New York after she got her deal. And just because, you know, she just thought that she needed to live in New York. And like the book, the advance was good, but the book didn't do shit. And then she was just in New York and she was, and then they did not option her second or third book. And then she got another deal, which also didn't go well. And she was mad at the industry because she had built this life in New York that she could not sustain. And I'm like, well, good for you, sissy. But the thing that I'm thinking about is like we're constantly and consistently undervalued and underpaid. And like in a self-publishing context, they say you have to have 10 books out in order to sustain yourself off of. And most of the conversations that I have with authors, they're thinking about advances as something to live off of. And I'm like, I don't want advances, bitch. I want royalties. I want passive income so that I can stop thinking about those 3 days a week where I'm working, and I can just focus on building a life around the writing that I want to do. And to me, that looks like working really hard for the next 3 years so that I have those 10 books. And that handful of novellas and a collection, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes.
So what you're saying is having a backlog of stuff that's publishable stuff so that you can build that, right? Is that what you're saying? Essentially.
Yeah. Like I have a 5-year plan of not working.
God.
And I can't, there's no way to, and like, this is a pipe dream at best, right? Like, there's no way that I can type that into being. And I recognize that. But like, I have to have something. Like, I have to have something to look forward to. I have to put a goal together. I have to put some deadlines together and like figure it out. And the only reason why I'm even interested in saying that is because my first story was in Fiyah Lit Magazine. That was a dream publication for me. Its first reprint happened in LeVar Burton Reads. That was a market I didn't know to dream of. Do you know what I'm saying? There are things that keep happening in my career that I don't know how to like, that I couldn't have planned for, right? So rather than like play small about that, I'm like, well, let me play to this propensity and hopefully the universe meets me there.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do.
Yeah. I don't think that's wrong to have that mindset, you know, because someone's got to dream it. Someone has to dream it. Someone has to think it's possible. Someone has to fight for it. And I think, at least for myself, I've always had like, for me at least, it's been less of like, okay, I'm going to stop working, and more like, I want the career that this author has, like, and what have they done to get there? So let me see what I can do and still be authentic to myself in the process, and still try to.
Ethical.
Yeah, that's the
thing, right? We have to find the balance because, well, and also too, to be frank, we don't get to be as cutthroat as they get to be.
We don't have this. We don't have the same access to opportunities that they have.
No. And even if we did and we used it the way that they used it, those opportunities would quickly get taken away from us.
I don't know if that's true because we know people, but
I mean, you know, but see, the way they play it though, they play. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because you know we can talk about it.
All right, yeah.
But yes, you're right. There are some of us out there who disparage their own for opportunities. And I don't want to be one of those. I want to get there and still feel good about myself once I get there. So
I think what you're saying, Brent, is important. Hang on to who you are as a person, despite what happens in your career. I think that's a big thing because we've all seen stuff, you know, but but what LP said, like having a goal, like, I don't know. I've been a teacher a long time in the same district for a long time. And I'm like, well, what year can I retire? Oh, wait, I'm going to be a high school teacher till I'm how old? Like that, like to me, like I love 5 years from now, not doing that. And you know what I mean? Like, or whatever that time frame is. I love what I do, but at the same time, like, yeah, I have to, once I'm done with this program, figure out, okay, what can I do now? And what's the timeline? Because I got to figure out something. You know what I mean? I can keep doing it, but that's not what I want to keep doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think too, because like one thing I always think about with like, you know, it's all, we have to walk so many like balancing like tight ropes and trying to like get to where we want to be. Like today, I talked about it on Twitter. You know, it's like, we can't afford to feel entitled to anything, like as Black writers trying to pursue it. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have as many barriers and obstacles and whatever placed in front of us that we do. But, we individually, as an individual writer trying to break into the industry, you're not going to have the power to make those things go away. And you can't feel entitled to any of this stuff. You can pursue it, but like feeling you're entitled to it is a quick way to just become resentful and burnt out and just angry. And yeah, I don't want any of us getting into that space. I think I veered away from the question, but
I mean, I don't think you have. I think, I feel like in Just Keep Writing episodes in the past, there's been conversations about what makes this hard. I don't think we've had a Just Keep Writing episode where the Black people on the podcast talked about this just kind of like as an inter-community conversation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that's far from it at all. I have big dreams for the next 5 years. And I want to see them succeed or something. I need to write a grip of books in the next 3 years. That's the conversation for me. And then after that, we just have to see what happens. But like, also, I really want an agent who wants to work as hard as I do, because I'm trying to get out. I don't live in the hood anymore, but I'm trying to leave this barrio.
Yeah, and dreaming big is important. I encourage people to. I honestly, and I know I'm bad about it myself. I temper things a lot, but I don't expect people to follow my path. Dream big as hell. Like dream, go for the stars. But I think there's a turning point coming soon where one of us, besides for some of the ones that have already been out there, but I think there's going to be someone that's going to get that big deal. Someone's going to get that success, and they're going to do it in a way that doesn't require them to sell themselves as the only one, or to disparage their community, or to write something that feels just like, just that actually gets to feel Black and still be successful. I think we're getting there. So
I personally, as a person, I don't have a jealousy response. I do have an envy response where I'm like, oh, wow, I wish that would happen for me as well. But I don't have an experience of like, oh, why did that happen to them instead of me?
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's been a saving grace for me, because I am genuinely excited when I hear good things happening for people. It's like, oh, right. I've been wanting to turn in a novella to Neon Hemlock for 3 years. But when Brent got, announced his deal, I was like, that's fucking exciting. I love this.
Right.
And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I think that's the right way to feel about it. Like, we're all community, and like there's not enough of us to be like turning on one another. And I think it's unfortunate. I've seen this as like something I've seen more of, and I'm not even saying just amongst Black writers. I think I've just seen amongst writers in general. It's just this shitting on people's happy moments because you didn't get a happy moment. And I think there was a little bit of discourse about that today on Twitter. I don't know, but I know I definitely said, like, if you have to chime in on someone's happiness with your anxieties or your frustrations or your disappointments, that's fucked up. Like, let people have their happy moment. You shouldn't ruin someone's happy moment or expect someone to take time away from that happy moment to assuage your feelings.
Yeah. I mean, have a therapist. Have some friends.
Have a group chat. I beg you, please have a group chat. Like, have at least one person that you can tell all your petty, angry shit to, because it's okay to have petty, jealous feelings. Like, that's fine. Like, that's normal. That's human. Like, now I would never tell someone that, you shouldn't have petty moments or like be upset that someone got something, because, I mean, that's human. but just don't do that shit in public. Like, have a friend that you can tell that to. LD's that for me. Anytime I feel like being petty or feeling like I need to let something off my chest, I hit her up, and you know, and she's a safe space for me to do that. And I think people have to find their safe space where they can do that, and especially as Black writers, because we don't have as many chances to fuck up in public.
We don't have as many chances to fuck up in public, but it's also a thing where, like, she hit me up today because she needed to be petty about something. I was like, yeah, Gert, I don't know how this is happening, but, you know, it's all going to tumble down when it tumbles down.
Yeah, so, yeah. Look,
you're not speak on it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all it is. Just look, I need to vent and get it off my chest, and I can go back about my day. Like, and I think as Black folks, we got to have those networks where we can vent and be petty with each other about things, and not, you know, because unfortunately for us, we still have these institutional expectations, and we can't necessarily be going off in public, especially about like the gatekeepers in the industry. Like, there's ways to challenge power structures and to, you know, ask for change without basically closing out your own career in the process. Now, if that's what you want to do, then go for it. I'm not gonna tell you not to, but there's some people out here. I'm like, you can't. You really just said that with your whole chest.
I know who you're talking about, and I hear you. I think it's super hard when you feel hopeless and or helpless, and there's nothing that you feel like you can do, and the only thing you think you can do. And I also think it's a generational thing, because Twitter fingers be strong.
Twitter fingers be strong. Just swinging on everybody. I'm like, wait, like, like you gotta think twice. Wait, like
Babylonian proverb: think 9 times and speak only on the 10th.
I mean, honestly, because this industry is too small. There's too small, too many people. And not just that. It's not that this industry is small. You're dealing with writers. We are the most grudge-holding people in existence. You piss one of us off, we are going to remember that shit till time immemorial.
The Whisper Network roars.
So yeah. So if I had to say, I mean, I know we've been like talking about like challenges and whatnot. If there's any advice I could offer a Black writer out there who's just feeling frustrated with like all the hurdles and the hills, and just it seems like you're getting every door closed on you, just find someone to vent to in private, and
do it for yourself.
And do it. And that's the thing. It's not about respectability, because I know that's the common, like, you know, well, I'm not respectable. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna challenge the system. Blah blah blah. Good, challenge it, but then you got to accept the consequences. And if you don't want to face those consequences, and you still, you see, it's I hate this because it's cliche as hell, but chess versus checkers. Like you out here, you know, I mean, and honestly, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any substantial change ever come from someone doing all that arm swinging online. Mm-hmm. If anything, it causes a little buzz, a little conversation for a little bit, and they move on. But the one way they don't move on is remembering your name. They're going to hold on to that shit forever.
Well, not forever, because Twitter's going down in 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's true, girl. By the time this podcast airs, Twitter going to be gone by the time we air this.
By the time this post.
I hope I'm able to respond to this tweet before this goes up. Let's pivot.
Yeah. We've been on this one a bit.
Because I took a liberty. So what are you excited about finishing next year? Career-wise, it doesn't have to just be writing, but it should be writing related. I'm edging towards something.
All right. Well, I guess I'm excited about the novella coming out next year, because I really, really love that cover, and I really, really want it out there in the world. And I really just want to make sure that my story does it justice, because I don't know too many Black queer men on the cover of a science fiction fantasy book that's dropping. And I do take that like seriously, and I do feel like that's like an honor and also a burden because I got to make sure I bring my A game. I can't be disappointing my demographic with no bullshit. So
your book with 2 black men kissing on the cover is Samuel R. Delaney's Afrofuturism.
Damn, you make it even. Look, I was already feeling like Atlas. Now you just threw some more bricks on there.
You're doing it. I'm not worried about you. It's fine. But you only said 1 novella, and there are 2.
Oh, which other one? Oh, yeah, for sure. Yes. Well, do you want to talk about that one though? I don't want to.
Oh no, not ours. You have a second that you worked on.
What? You guys have some secret projects nobody's talking about. Just say it already. Wait. I haven't heard about any of this shit. I have
a second one coming out, but I am gonna work on it. The one with the whole little I'm thinking writing wise. Sorry. Switching hats, editor. All right, so yes, the first my first yeah. So my first book I edited with through a big four publisher is dropping next year. Michael Order, amazing. I'm excited about that. It has been getting such good buzz. Some of it I can't talk about yet, but it's been getting such good buzz, and I am like I'm super stoked. And I mean, honestly, she made it easy for me, but it's still super cool to be attached to this project, and I'm just like excited about it. So yeah, so you write 2 novellas. One's the editor. So I'm thinking writer mode right now, but yeah, one is the editor, one is the writer. So yeah. And then that stuff I know for sure is coming out next year, but outside of stuff that I know for sure is coming out, I really, really want to finish the my novel work in progress. Like I think I was. It kind of sucks because I was really at a place where I was just excited, and I think I could have just barreled through that draft quick, but I had to focus on the novella. So it wasn't a matter of like stopping because I wasn't feeling good about it. I just had to stop. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to that and knock that out.
What about you, Marshall?
Oh, let's see. I'm mostly excited to finish grad school, obviously. I'm also really, really excited to go back to my previous work in progress, which is a big fantasy thing I was working on that once I have time to do it, I feel like that's going to be something really freaking cool. And I'm also really excited to finish this this pilot I have for this TV show idea I have that's basically an adaptation of my current work in progress for the program. But I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But I really have a love for TV in particular.
And fuck them birds.
And I want to just write. What's that?
And fuck them birds.
Yeah, I just want to write. I want to write. I want to be in a writer's room one day. I want to write TV at some point too. So that's something that I really haven't mentioned that on this show ever. Really.
So cool.
That's something I've always wanted to do. So I'm secretly working on a pilot for that as well. So I'm excited to finish that. Hopefully by the end of the year, by 2023.
Nice. Love that.
LP.
Opening up the document because I forget the things because there's so many things.
You do have that going on.
Look, so next year I'm going to be guest editing an issue of a magazine. I don't know if that's been announced yet. I'm excited about that. I might induct some extra slush readers for that because I got peoples. The only novel that I'm sure I will finish next year will be the Fae in Space one that I've been talking about for years. The other one that I will draft will probably be The Fortunate, which is the Black superhero family story. But I have a bunch of novellas that I'd like to power my way through for a myriad of publishers. And if I can work on any short fiction, then maybe I'll finish my collection in the next 2 years, and that'll be great.
Nice.
But I will be finished with one of my books by the time you finish your program. I have put you and Nick as like y'all are dragging me along, and I appreciate you for that. You don't even know this is happening.
That's fine. You have till July.
I know.
July. Okay.
I'm watching the clock.
Okay. You're watching the clock. All right. Fair enough. All right, guys. So before I look, and I'm gonna throw this out there, and I don't know what else is left on our agenda, but at the end of any meeting, any good meeting, does anybody have any other things that we want to bring up or talk about?
I want to talk about people I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You're up.
I have a big creative crush on Catwell Turnbull. No Gods, No Monsters ruined me. It ruined what I think a novel can be, and I love it for that. It's collectivist and multiple protagonists, and also a protagonist who is a narrator, but also has his own story while narrating others. It's amazing. It is a powerful piece of fiction, and I fucking love it. Another book that I read, which was not by a Black person, but by a person of color, is Sequoia Nagamatsu's How High We Go in the Dark. Also, I think you call this a novel in stories. Wrecked Me pushes against what a novel can be, because it spans the course of 1,000,000 years. Yes, sir. That's one of them. That's the first one. It spans the course of 1,000,000 years, and it's nothing short of amazing. It's so beautiful. It's tough because there's a lot of death going on in it. There might be a pandemic. There might be an apocalypse. There might be a generation ship. We'll see how it goes. And actually, none of those are spoilers. But it's just, I've had the chance to read these two books that have just kind of blown my mind in a very real way. And I think the last one I'm going to talk about, I'm honoring Will by answering in threes. I'm ready for The Blood Gift.
Because he took mine.
Oh, okay. Now take that back.
No.
It's fine. I'm ready for Drinking from Graveyard Wells.
Okay.
Because I just I read a little bit of Yvette's story in the anthology that came out today, and I'm just so ready to dive into the absurdism, the Afrorealism of that collection when it comes out. Also, Yvette is the homie.
Okay. For me, his novella just dropped, but I am still so looking forward to whatever he decides to produce in the future, and I really want more people to know him. Bendy Barrett, he is part of my novella crew with Neon Hemlock. Empire of the Feast is still one of my favorite reads of the year, hands down. He's in the top 3 reads everything I read this year. That novella was just so imaginative, and somehow it just made the eroticism made it more epic. That was the crazy part he pulled off. Usually the eroticism is more intimate and personal in stories, but his somehow was epic and grand, and just it blew my fucking mind. I was really happy with it. So anything he puts out in the future, I will automatically be reading and picking up. I am interested in Blood Gift because Nia is just a talent, a true talent, and I want her to write all the books and all the things. And yeah, I know we talked about her earlier in the podcast, but still, she is just a force, and I want her to know this. Jen Brown, I know. See, this is the thing. I know some of the things she's working on, and I'm just damn it. I want it out there. I want it out there. I want it. And yeah, she's just such a intentional, imaginative, just thoughtful writer. I can read her shit over and over again. It just feels it feels new. Every time I read it, I find new things that I didn't see before. So yeah, those are 3 writers. I have more, but we'll stick to honoring Will here and go with 3.
So what are we doing?
3 writers with 3 Black writers we're looking forward to seeing more of next year.
I don't know if I can answer that question.
Well, I can say more. I have more.
No, the only reason I'm saying that is because I've been so bogged down in everything else. I have not been. So I'm gonna do this. Definitely Nia's book, Blood Gift for sure. I'm gonna say that because I'm going off of that. I also have not. I'm actually kind of going back and looking at the books that I wish I had read and didn't read yet. I haven't read Goliath yet by Tochi. I want to read that one. And I don't know if we're supposed to be talking about stuff we want to read,
Either
or or stuff or authors you want to see. I want to read everything that you guys do as soon as humanly possible because you two are awesome to me, and I just want to read your work. Period. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I'll be honest with you. You two are the closest Black authors I have in my life right now. Besides, I mean, I want to read more from Maurice. Yeah, but that's where I'm at right now.
Well, I think is at least for Black writers. I always say too, it's like I think it's never a bad time or it's never an expiration date on mentioning like check this person out because so many of the people that are reading science fiction fantasy are just so ignorant of how many of us are out there, how many of us are doing things and doing good things that like there's no expiration. Like literally, and I don't even remember when it happened and how. And I was happy it happened, but I was also like, damn, this man's book's been out 10 years. So I mentioned Acacia by David Anthony Durham to someone. And they were literally like, holy shit, I didn't know this book existed. Like, I want to read the whole trilogy and buy all three. And part of me is like, fuck yeah, that's great. But the other part of me is like, this man's been out 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. And his stuff is still like, oh, I didn't know. And I'm like, that man wrote a 3-part book series that is every bit has the epicness and grand scale of a Game of Thrones or House of Dragons or whatever. And it's not just, even though he's a Black man, it's not just blackness in it. It's such a rich trilogy, and I could talk about it forever. But anyway, yeah. So my whole point with that is that like there's never a expiration date on hipping someone to a Black writer because there's so many people that just don't know the breadth of work we have out there.
For sure. All right. Are we good?
Good. I think you're on mute, LP.
I don't know how to do this. I'm so sorry. I've never been on Zoom or Zencaster in my life. I'm so sorry, guys. Still learning how to technology. Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm very excited about this year. I think I feel like I have a lot of peers who are about to like break through in a very real way. And it makes me so excited. I'm excited and I'm behind, right? Mm-hmm. Like I just made friends with Bendy. I need to read his novella. I need to start Futureland. I got an arc of Drinking from Graveyard Wells. Like I need to read that. Like your boy just needs to catch up. I still haven't finished 9 Bar Blues. Like folks, I got work to do. So
there's so much to read. It's like what the fuck? When do I have time? I mean, I read, you know, and unfortunately, I probably need to be better about this because I just be reading. Lately, I've just been reading like what interests me, but like I need to be a little more intentional about like, you know, I think reading more of us because I looked at my like spreadsheet that I keep of books I read. Like I don't think I read enough of us this year, but I think I was also just like dying for like. You know what? I'm gonna put this call out there on the podcast now. If anybody knows, I need some more Black authors that like write like some weird Mayville, like Sasha Stronach type worlds, like Downhounds, The Scar. I need some weird shit. That's what I need. Like, give me that. Tell me the Black authors writing that, and I will check them out. That's my call for recommendations from the audience.
So listeners, you can jump into Discord and give Brent some recommendation.
Yeah, I need weird worlds. I like weird shit.
One of the reasons I was hesitant about joining as a co-host is because we were reading Charlie Jane Andrews' Never Say You Can't Survive. Not because I haven't read it already, but because I've committed to only reading Black writers, reading Black books, BIPOC books this year. And so I was like, oh, am I going to have to reread that? Because, like, that'll ruin my streak.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, until I actually looked at my thing. I was like, oh. Now, what I will say, though, is I've read mostly woman writers this year, which is, nice. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah. But I was like, I definitely probably could have read more of us, though. But
yeah. I mean, look, it's never too late to decide that your next year is going to be all BIPOC.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so honestly, it's hard for me to like because Max Gladstone coming out next year. I can't skip that craft sequence is like that's like my holy grail. I can't skip that.
You can give yourself passes if you need to.
Yeah,
just don't give yourself passes for trash.
No. I mean, I'm very like I'm very particular. Like the white people I read this year, like Kristen Hall, like her shit. That's like literally, if y'all can find me a black author that writes books the way Kristen Hall writes books, aces. Because like she literally writes books that I feel like were specifically made for me to read. Mm. So if y'all can find me a black version of her,
all right,
okay,
that's my request.
Out there,
yeah.
All right, yeah. Someone come out and be the next Black Kristen Hall.
It will literally be an auto buy. I've read 3 of her books this year. Like okay. I haven't multi-read any authors this year. She's the only one, I think.
Is that the one that you posted? I think I put it on my wish list today. Yeah, boy, I just put both those books on my wish list because I'm about to drive.
I mean, Star Eater was about nuns, or cannibal nuns that eat to gain magic powers, and they were living on a floating city on some other planet. I'm like, fuck yes, this is give me this crazy. Weird shit. And then Border Keeper, you have like it's like an underworld story, but like there's 999 realms, and each realm has a specific ruler with specific rules. So like one realm, if you like say a lie, your ass gets locked up or some shit. Or like there's another realm, it's like if someone feels disrespected, you got to fight to the death every single time. And it's like yeah. So it's like, there's like, and it's about this woman, and she's a black woman, like, who is like guarding basically the gate she's the only person that can travel between these underworld realms and the mortal realm. And it's just interesting as fuck. And I'm like, please give me more.
All right. Well, that sounds awesome. We should wrap this up.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody needs to jump in Discord and help out Brent.
Please.
And we'll be back with more Just Keep Writing All Black. If not before, definitely during Black History Month. But I can't thank you guys enough for doing this going forward because I'm stoked to see what we come up with. So I think we all need this.
Get back to our novella.
Say it again.
And remind us in the third quarter to get back to our novella.
Yes,
for sure. I have to.
And this has been Just Keep Writing, a podcast for writers, by writers, to keep you writing. You can find us at justkeepwriting.org. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to reach out to any of us on our social medias, and please jump in our Just Keep Writing Discord channel. Links to all of that is in the show notes. Lastly, please support our show by going to patreon.com/justkeepwriting. We offer daily writing prompts, early access to podcast episodes, and much more. Thanks for listening, and just keep writing.